Then why do you put makeup on whenever you're going to work? Kyo asked curiously. Because makeup isn't just for making a person prettier, Wine confidently stated. It's also an art form. Wow. Both Kyo and Seiji clapped. Wise words from the great YNLN. Wine's eyes flickered to Gakushu for a second. I wonder if he finds any girl pretty. She then scoffed. If anyone, it definitely wouldn't be me. The bell rang and everyone returned to their seats. Good morning, class, their English teacher sang as she walked in. Wow, what's gotten Matsui-sensei all sing-songy today? A classmate asked with a raised brow. I want to bet with Odasaku-sensei, she grinned. What did you guys bet on? Kyo inquired. If the basketball club's new hoop was gonna last long. Miwa snickered. It in fact did not last long. Wine snorted. What happened to it? They installed it wrong. Miwa flapped her hands. Odasaku-sensei was hoping that it wouldn't, so that the school's funding would go toward newer books. But I knew it would, since the Meathead Basketball Club members were so adamant about installing it themselves. Hey, what do you mean, Meathead? One student, who was part of the basketball club, comically shouted. The class chuckled. Gakushu inwardly sighed. More work for the student council. In all honesty, I wish the school would put more funding into the fine arts. Kyo spoke up. The school's auditorium looks like it could use a new renovations. A good amount of the seats are broken and the booth is absolutely outdated. I agree. Someone in concert band nodded, but then shot a shit-eating grin to Kyo, even if it is coming from an orchestra loser. Shut up, you band brat! Kyo shot back. Wine deadpanned. Why do band and orchestra students hate each other? Because they suck? Kyo and the band student said at the same time. Miwa spoke up with a laugh. Alright. We don't need to start a performance war right now. If you have any complaints, I'm sure the student council members wouldn't mind looking into them. Gakushu cleared his throat and plastered a charismatic smile. Yes, that's true. We wouldn't mind doing what's best in the school's interest. If you have any inquiries, inform me. My comrades and I will do our very best to see it through. He didn't care much about satisfying their wants. He only wanted to gain their favor so that he could rule over them as king. Wine rolled her eyes and leaned on her palm. As if you actually care. She was forgetting that she technically owed him for giving her a ride last night. Oh, yeah, I forgot you were President Asano. Miwa awed. Sorry about that. It's just not common for a second-year student to be the student council president. It's quite alright, Matsui-sensei. Gakushu dryly chuckled. Well, you heard it here, students. Miwa heartedly laughed. Asano's willing to do his best as president. This statement prompted his classmates to begin clapping for him. This fueled his pride. Of course, the only person who wasn't clapping for him was YN. Can we start getting rid of all the orchestra nerds? Boy, you better get ready to catch these hands. Gakushu, being the biased person he is, was for sure going to help out the orchestra instead of the band. Anyway, it's time to begin class. Miwa clapped her hands. Has anyone started reading Romeo and Juliet? A lot of people raised their hands, including Gakushu. He specifically had the arm with the student council president band raised. Alrighty then, how many people actually started reading it? Miwa snickered. A lot of hands shamefully went down. Mitsui-sensei, how about those who have already read it? Gakushu inquired. That's a good question. How many people have already read Romeo and Juliet before? Wyan raised her hand as she still leaned into the palm of her other hand. Gakushu's hand was also raised. Of course, the two smartest students in class have already read it. Someone sighed. It's a given at this point. Someone else sighed. I expected it from Asano. But you too, Ellen? Yes, ma'am. Wyan gave a calm smile. I have it practically memorized by now. Seiji teased. Despite her hot-headed disposition, she's secretly a nerd. Wyan rolled her eyes. Well then, Miwa beamed. I'm glad I made the right choice to pair you together. I'm expecting a lot from you two. Wyan's eyebrows twitched as Kyo and Seiji snickered. Gakushu felt like he heard fate say that to him before. Moving along, since the rest of you haven't exactly started reading it, today you will begin to get familiar with it. Nīwa announced. Sit near your partners and begin taking your digital notes or conversations on the book. Ellen, Asano, you two included. I signed us up for the laptop cards today, so if anyone needs one, by all means go ahead and get one. Use your time wisely, because I won't always be giving you time to work on it in class. Gakushu and Wyan grimaced. As desks began to move and people began to shuffle around in their spots, Gakushu approached Wyan's desk. Wyan looked up at him and sighed. Let's just get this over with. Agreed. Gakushu nodded, not showing his reluctance to work with her. After moving her desk in front of his, Wyan stood up and went over to the laptop cart to pick one up. Meanwhile, Gakushu pulled an extremely expensive laptop out of his school bag. It was one of the latest models, with the best accommodations. Rich boy, she muttered and sat back down at her seat across from him. Gakushu dryly chuckled. I wouldn't say rich. I would much rather say comfortable. That, Wyan pointed out as she moved the screen of her laptop up, is exactly what a super rich person would say. Gakushu ignored the comment as he typed in the password to his computer. Kyo glanced over to Wyan from nearby with Seiji. How long do you think Wyan will last before getting mad at him? Seiji asked. 5 minutes, Kyo answered. I'd say 10. Honestly, I hope she'll be okay, but more importantly, Kyo whispered, Asano's really out here flexing on us commoners, bringing out a computer like that? I know for a fact you did not just call yourself a commoner. Seiji deadpanned as Kyo pulled out her expensive-ass tablet with a keyboard. A few minutes passed. Gakushu and Wyan had both begun to reread a few sections in silence. They shared a digital document, enabling them to work on the same document and see what the other was typing. Wyan stared in disbelief when she watched words appear on the screen in seconds. She looked up to Gakushu. Said Strawberry Blonde was holding the book in one hand and rapidly typing with the other. He had no emotion on his face as he stared at the book. Holy shit, she uttered. Gakushu paused and looked up. What? Wyan was not at all going to admit that she was gawking at his typing abilities. Therefore, could you type a little quieter, please? Wyan forced a strained but amicable smile. You sound like you're angrily arguing with someone on the internet and trying to get your point across. Oh, my apologies. Gakushu's eyebrows twitched in annoyance. I'll do my best to fit your needs in as long as you fit mine. I swear I'm going to fucking strangle him one of these days. Wyan inwardly fumed. A few more minutes later, Wyan was peacefully typing on her laptop and moved her foot to cross her legs. In the process of doing so, the tip of her school slipper lightly nudged Gakushu's knee. At first, he didn't mind, thinking that it was an accident. That was until she decided to switch her legs. Once again, her foot nudged his shin, this time a bit harder. Do you mind? He snapped. Wyan narrowed her eyes at him with another forced smile. I'm sorry about that, President Asano. A little while later, Gakushu crossed his legs. He accidentally hit her in the shin with his bottom slipper. This slightly irritated Wyan a bit more since she was wearing a skirt, meaning her shin was exposed. Of course, Wyan wasn't having it, so she decided to kick him on purpose this time. She uncrossed her legs, planting both feet onto the floor. Then she swung her right leg back and kicked him right in the shin. Gakushu irked as pain vibrated from his left leg. Is there a reason as to why you kicked me? He asked with a voice lined with vexation. He ended up reaching down and rubbing his leg. You kicked me first, Wyan pointed out. No, you kicked me first. Gakushu scowled. Multiple times, actually. I apologized, Wyan replied. I'm very well aware that your apology was insincere, Gakushu stated, staring directly at her while typing. Wyan rolled her eyes. After a while, Gakushu stretched his legs out and crossed his feet, lightly tapping Wyan's ankle. Wyan was fed up. Once again, she kicked him. This time, Gakushu kicked back. The two glared at each other. This was going to be a long month and a half for the both of them. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the little ending I saved for you. Jude was like at my door and I didn't know if she was trying to get in or get out. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing morning, have an amazing evening, have an amazing afternoon whenever you're listening to this, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Goodbye everyone.